So, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your being here. I want to take this time to talk about discernment. I wonder if there is much discernment in the church. So, we're going to talk about Robert Morris again. As I mentioned in a previous video, that somebody writes a book and then they go on somebody else's show and then they go on another show, and then pretty soon the host writes a book and he makes the rounds on all the Christian talk shows, and there's a lot of traction because a lot of people see it, but it doesn't mean that it's biblically accurate. So this of course stems from more of the same with the whole Robert Morris situation. So as I mentioned, I had begun to question some things, and I was asking some questions, and I was like, I don't think scripturally, this is right. Let's talk about it. But instead, the pastor's response was, you can't be here. Yet he continued to showcase and play DVDs and live stream these Robert Morris sermons, and Robert Morris is a prosperity gospel preacher. So why was there no discernment over that? Why are pastors not in prayer just because somebody's been on 6 or 7 different talk shows, and then somebody else goes on those same talk shows, and we have this big circle of people who just share information that probably isn't biblical? Just because somebody's been on a bunch of talk shows and has a wide audience doesn't mean that what they're saying is biblical, but yet, oh, did you see that guy? He was on this show, so let's have him on, right? So that is how a lot of modern Christianity is. That it's not necessarily biblical, but what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about it on all these shows. It's going to get a lot of traction, and then all it does is self-perpetuate this story, this idea, this thought that probably isn't even biblical. So I was thinking about Hebrews 5:13, talking about us being on solid food, and God's word is the solid food that we need. And so just because somebody is preaching some kind of milk and has had a lot of views doesn't mean that's something that we need to be involved with. So 5:13 says this, for everyone who partakes only in milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So we just need more discernment in the church. That we have to have that, because without it, we're going to be led astray. Because what happens is we go into these scenarios where we're all supporting these other pastors, these other preachers. What they're saying isn't necessarily biblical, and we get led astray because what we're doing is we're following these things and we don't have any discernment at all. And that's really what we need, is to be able to discern, is this something that is helpful to the congregation? Is this good? Do I think it's accurate, etc., based upon what we know from the scriptures? And then we need to run if it isn't. So I was just thinking about that and thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about discernment and making certain that we are not led astray because we are following something that isn't biblical. Because just because somebody's been on a bunch of television shows doesn't mean that they have understanding and that they have truth, and they just lead people astray. And by not praying and having discernment, that's what happens in the pulpits. So I just thought that I would take this opportunity to share that. I so appreciate all of you being here. It truly is a blessing to be able to do this every single day. Absolutely, without question. God bless you. Armor up. We ride at dawn. Have a great day.